Hi guys, happy Thursday. It's Clarice, and we are here to do a quick live to get our 15 minutes of painting in. The whole idea behind these lives are to encourage you guys to take time for yourself and express specifically in watercolor or mainly in watercolor. But today I am doing something a little bit different. Today we are going to be exploring Karin Brushmarkers. And I'm just kind of getting my sheet ready from my Bao watercolor paper pad here. But who's here? Come say hi so I can say hi back to you. And then we're going to start just as soon as I am ready. Now, by the way, even though I am using Karin Brushmarkers, you can use watercolor, any kind of watercolor that you have on hand, or if you want to use brush markers, you can use brush markers as well. So feel free to go with the flow because that's what we're all about. No stress and just do what you have. Hi, Laura. Okay, so whoever's here, you'll catch the live, and don't worry, like the replay will be available for you to watch after as well in case you are interested. So the thing about these brushes now, I don't know if anyone has used them before, but I am using specifically the 12 nude colors that they have. It comes in a pack like this. So you don't have to get the whole massive set if you like specific colors. Like they have these neat little boxed bunches of colors based on, I guess they've got, I think, pastels, bright, all these different things. So because it's autumn and we're on this whole autumn tip, I'll be using the colors from their nude selection. And I actually kind of really like what these colors look like. So we're going to be painting something. I had a visual to show you guys, but I'm not finding it anymore. So I can't show you a visual, but you can just kind of go along with me, okay? So like I mentioned before, you can absolutely do this with watercolors. Just kind of go along and see how you're able to take little dots of color and spread it out with your brush. I'll show you guys two different ways of how you can use these brushes. And yeah, let me just make sure I can turn this around. And then you can see my desk. And we will go from there. Here we go. Perfect. So, a little bit of adjusting. I know my handle is super loud, so don't mind it for now. Let me just adjust. So there we go. Can you guys see clearly? Like, is the lighting okay? Because for me, when I see the lighting, it's just really weird. It almost looks like it's shadowy and dark. So I want to make sure you're able to see it. I'm wondering if I should turn it this way. I think because the light is coming from here. So I think this might be better. Okay, perfect. Yeah, because the preview on my screen looks kind of like darkish. So I just want to make sure y'all are able to see it before we move on. Okay, so feel free to drop in your questions, but I'm going to take a seat and start painting. I will get back to your questions or your comments after I am done because I don't have a moderator with me. It's just me doing this with you guys. So, yeah, wanted to make that comment. So what I'm going to be doing is, so I've got my Bao watercolor paper. We've got the markers ready, and I am going to keep a brush handy. Let's see, because of the size of the paper is fairly small. If you've got like a number 4 or a number 3, that should suffice. So let me use the number 3. I'm really liking how I'm able to control to get smaller effects with the number 3. And for the most part, I believe all of these items that I'm using are listed below. So you can check it out there, or like I said, no need to get what I have. Use what you have on hand. Okay, so here we go. I have a selection of yellows and browns and pinks over here. So we're going to be doing cute little florals. And I'm going to start off with using the yellow ochre, which is right here. Now these are super pigmented colors. And the best way, like I like these colors or these flowers to do, because these are some of the florals you can do to sort of just go with the flow. So I'm using nice fine pointed tip to create 3 little sections there. And then using water on my brush, I'm spreading these around. Now feel free to like turn your page, if you like turn the sheet around, if you're able to access it better that way. But all I'm doing is spreading the color around, and we've got a cute little flower. It's super fun. It's super cute and easy to do. And then what I'm going to do is take, before it dries up, I'm taking my, should I take sepia? No. I'm going to keep the sepia for the branches, and I'm going to use the sandstone instead. And while it is damp, I'm going to create that bottom portion of the flower. And the reason being is so I can get a nice little bloom into the flower. So we've got that nice little base for our flower. Look how cute that is. And then we don't have greens here, so I'm going to be using the sepia to create a stem. So now we've got 3 different colors that we're using. And the nice fine pointed tip on this allows you to like create a nice stem. But again, like I said, feel free to use your brushes and your watercolors, and you can use the exact, like everything I just showed you is how you can create the same thing with watercolors. Like it's the same technique. It's just fun that these colors come in a brush and you're able to move them around with a watercolor brush, or you can just kind of use this to get a really nice dark colored effect. Okay, so let's do a couple more of these. This time I want to switch the color around just to get a different vibe, so to speak. So this time I'll use the salmon pink, which is also cute. And I want to make sure that I'm able to get some nice flow, which is why I have this off to an angle that way. So let's do one happening at the top, because we need to have that hierarchy. I gotta make sure I got enough color there, because these were lying flat on my desk for a while. Now taking this brush, we're going to go in and spread the color around. Now, it's important that you spread the color around almost immediately. Otherwise, you're going to find it hard to move the color around. Now, another note is if you're not able to move it around as freely like we did with the pink, like this is, sorry, with the yellow, this is super light, you can see. Go back in with this brush and drop in some strokes in there, just to kind of highlight your flower some more. And you're still able to get that nice blooming effect. Now with watercolor, you'd be just taking color on your brush and adding it to the edges of where the area is damp. Simple, to the point, super effective, fun, and relaxing to do. So now I'm going to take the yellow ochre, so I'm taking that color that we have, and we're going to add that to the bottom of this flower. And then, as per usual, using the dark sepia, we're going to create a stem. Now the stem is off to the side like this. Now, before I move on to another flower, this is my technique to kind of map out where you want your florals to be, because sometimes it can be pretty daunting to kind of go with the flow without really knowing space-wise and things like that. So I'm going to use this time, because I have the sepia happening, and create another stem. So now I know one flower can go here. And I want there to be like almost like like an arrow pointing upwards. So we'll have this as the tallest element and then other kind of flowers happening lower below. So I'm adding things like this. Can have, well, there's one flower here, so we don't need another one here. I'll do one off to the side over here. And then we're also going to be adding leaves. Now, if you're super simple and you like just little twiggy flowers like this, that's also fine. You can totally keep it simple and you don't have to have anything super complicated. So I'll do one more happening to the side just to kind of mimic this one. And I'm just lightly grazing. So if you're using your watercolor brush, you're lightly grazing to create these stems for yourself, for your flowers. And then I'm doing another one kind of coming out this way. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flowers. I like having odd numbers, so that's perfect. And so now from here, we're just going to be building up backwards. So remember how we started with the petals, the base, and then the stem. So we're going backwards over here. So I'll be using, what color? Let's use this right here. So this is sandstone again. And we'll be using this to create the base for our flowers where we're placing them. So this one's attached to the yellow. So let's do kind of like a yellow look. I'm not using the exact same yellow. I'm using praline this time. And look at that. Like the colors kind of blend in just like watercolor would. And yeah, so we should be getting similar effects. And then we're just moving the color around, spreading it around to get that nice loose and soft effect. So it's kind of changing that whole hard-edged marker effect that you would typically get. And then again, you can always add touches of color at the tips of your petals if you want a darker area to be reflected there. So I'm going to add a little bit more color over here because it's overlapping on this stem. And yeah, simple, cute, fun, not daunting, a perfectly relaxing exercise if you're sitting down to paint for you and just to relax. And also make these cute little cards. I don't know. Gotta get creative and find different ways to kind of create things. The best way to learn is by experimenting on this level. So what I'm going to do is do this orange color because I love that pop happening and I want it to be reflecting in one other area. So I'm going to do another one here. And then spreading the color around. This is like, I think this is my favorite color from this set. This pop of orange is so perfect. And look how faint and light this is. I know because I'm streaming from my phone, it's not the best quality that you can see, but I wish you could see this in person. It is super cute and whimsical. Like you almost don't want to add too much color. The contrast between the brown and the petals are just soft and light enough. So I'll keep that like that. You can also drop in another color if you want there to be a different variation within the tones, exactly like how we use watercolor. So I'm going to drop in soft peach. And here we go. I know folks are saying stuff in the comments. Guys, I'm not moderating yet. So please feel free to drop your questions, your hi hellos, and I'm definitely going to address them and talk to you guys as soon as I'm done. Okay, we've got 3 more to do, and then we can sort of do leaves to kind of finish that off. So we're doing our sandstone again for the base, and then this time let's do the yellow ochre. So here we go. So now I'm alternating. We've got one yellow there, so I'm kind of placing one on this side here. And see, it's just like 3 little dots. and then taking your brush and moving the color around. So like I've mentioned several times in this video, you can do this with your watercolors. So you just put a really dark version of that color down in dots or little lines, and then with a clean damp brush, or actually a brush with water, you just go in and smudge it around to form your petals. And look how simple and easy that is. Okay, moving on, let's do one more. And flowers like these most definitely call for little buds. So we'll perhaps do a little bit of like berry style buds happening in here too. And elements like that, like the little buds, add such pretty movement in a delicate way. So I'm dropping some color at the edges just to kind of give more definition to some of these petals. And maybe even differentiating between the three that we have. Look at that. And I love what's happening here because it's kind of like blending into this next flower because it's still damp. Pretty effect, super fun. And like I mentioned, these, so they're the Real Brush Pigment brush-like experience. So obviously you're supposed to kind of use them as you would a regular brush, but you're eliminating this aspect to it. The reason I'm using my brush here is so I can spread the color around and get a softer look. I don't want this super hard edged look. I prefer that whole romantic watercolor feel, and so that's what I'm doing. Okay, let's get on to our last one. So we're doing the base in sandstone. I think for those I did it in sepia by mistake. And then let's do the actual flower in soft peach. Beautiful set of colors. Well, I love the little palette of colors happening here. Okay, so spreading it around before it dries up, touching a little bit of that top flower to get a nice little soft blend. So cute. And then I'm going to go back in with the soft peach number 2, and I'm dropping some color at the edges of our petals. Creating some contrast. So if it dries off and it's super light there and you can't quite tell that it's ending there, this is when you kind of go in and add some color just to give it a little bit more of an implied edge, helping that implied edge along. And then if color is just sitting there, just like watercolor, you can use your brush, a clean brush, to kind of help the color along. Super light, so you can't quite tell as much, but I can see it on my end here, so it is making a difference. Okay, and let's do our buds now. So for the buds, I'm thinking let's do some of this color right there, which I believe is praline. Praline is also one of my favorites from this set. And all I'm going to be doing is adding little tiny almond shaped, almond shapes. So like kind of drawing in almond shapes. So let's do some happening over here. We've got a little bit of space. I don't want it to be super overpowering. So I'm going to do 3. And even with these, you can absolutely drop in your dot and then go in with your brush and paint those shapes in. It takes out, it's a little different from our typical going real loose because this requires a lot of repetition, but it's like controlled repetition, which can also be relaxing. And then now we're just joining this in. Look how cute. Like it's such a pretty, delicate little addition. And then you know what? I'm going to extend this just to even out the base here. And I like the fact that this is a different brown in comparison to the stems or the brown that we've used for our stems for the big flowers. So elements like this, super cute and fun. So I'm going to take advantage of this stem and create another little extension of our buds here. And then let's keep it simple. So I'm going to use the praline again. And for the sake of the length of this video, I'm just drawing this in with my brush. Handy, super handy and fun. Now I can totally see myself doing something like this if I needed a quick card, like a greeting birthday card or something like that. Because I'm one of those people that always forget to get people cards. But that probably shows that I value the gift or the presents. Actually, no, let's just call it what it is. I value giving the gift more than the actual card itself. Different people have different priorities. I know some friends go all out when it comes to greeting cards, and I love that. It's so precious because you know it's coming from the heart. Okay, so for this one, let's do a little bit of leafy action happening. So we did, because I didn't want these to be overlapping side by side. So let's continue using the sandstone and look how easy it is to do the leaves here. So using the fine pointed tip, pressing down, trailing back into the stem. Now, I don't like the shape of it. So what I'll do is go in with my damp brush and I'm going to help this color spread along. Now there's so much color in these. I can use what I have here to create another leaf. Like the colors are very strong. And yet another leaf. So we've got like 3 leaves. Let's do a couple more of those buds and let me see if I want any more leaves. We might not need any more leaves, to be honest. I'm dropping in some of that darker brown just to kind of... Ooh, it dried up. I was hoping for a bloom, but you can see that it's very hard-edged. Yeah, so it's blooming in here because this one's damp. This one dried up super quick. Okay. Back to the sandstone to create some buds over at the top here because we've got some here, some at the bottom. And I'll do... Like placement is everything. So this is where your sort of design intuition should kick in and you decide where you want to place your buds. These buds, I'll make them in the soft peach number 2. Now there's like, you can totally draw in your stems first and then go ahead and paint these at the very end. It really depends on how your brain works and what works best for you. Some people like to paint the flowers in first and then join with the stems. To me, I feel like that's a little debilitating when it comes to placement because the placement of things do bother me. It might not bother you, so you might just kind of like really go with the flow. It really depends on what you like. So go with that. I'm just showing you the technique on what you can do and how you can do these things. How you approach it should be entirely what brings you joy. So keep that in mind. So I'm just using my brush to kind of smoothen this out and spread the color. This one's not spreading as easy, but I can always take my my marker and really go in there and do what I want it to do. A little bit of peach over here. Now you'll notice that the brown is blending in really nicely with the peach, and you know, in other areas as well with the different colors, because these are the nature of these colors are like they blend really well. So check it out if you're interested in things like this. Otherwise, use your watercolor that you have on hand. Okay, finishing off with a couple of leaves, and then we should be good. So for the leaves, I don't want it to be super overpowering, so I'm thinking we'll use some of the praline mixed in with sandstone. So sandstone is the light brown that we have. And again, I'm just looking for a different variation of leaves. That's why I'm using a different color. I'll add one right there because why not divide the flowers? So I'm doing almost the exact same shape as we did for the buds, but I'm just extending to make it long. And then taking my damp brush, and I'm just helping that color move along in that shape. I'm taking some color from there and adding it here to kind of extend and create another leaf. This one's too perfectly like angled in that area. I know things like that bother me sometimes, so gotta go with the flow, guys. All right, here's one more. So I'm doing half a leaf there just to show you how strong these colors can be. And then taking my brush with water and just extending it all the way down. So the way to kind of fill up your base is by just adding leaves if you wish. That's just an idea. But if you like it aired out and airy at the bottom, then just leave it open. It's totally fine. And there we go. This is it. Simple, to the point. You can add more leaves if you want to. Maybe something kind of coming out from here because these are so perfectly aligned. But I'll leave that up to you guys because I don't know what you guys have done. That's it, guys. So thank you for watching. And again, if you're wondering what I was using, because you joined in later, I'm just using the Karin Brushmarkers to do our little 15 minutes of relaxing painting today. And I'm going to look at comments. Hi, Jen. Hi, Sherry. Thank you. Thanks, me. Natalie, that's really pretty. Thank you. Oh, and good morning, Jen. Yes. And Pookie Master is looking for a shout out. Okay. I mean, it's not a big deal, Pookie Master. Hi. Okay, guys, that's it. So I'll likely see you guys next week for a similar session. I really want you guys to get into the habit of painting and taking time for yourself. So I hope you find this fun. And I've listed everything I'm using in the description below, but feel free to use what you have on hand, okay? Thanks, guys. We'll chat soon. Bye.